Hi, hello. Today I'm going to introduce the chess basics. Let me start with the board introduction. If you see here, there are 8 columns in the chessboard. Like see, if you count like this, there are 8 columns. And also there are 8 rows, which means total number of squares in chessboard are 8 columns into 8 rows. Total 64 squares. Okay, total number of squares in chessboard are 64. And whenever you put chessboard, you make sure that your right hand always should be white color. Make sure always should be white color. If black color is there to your right hand side means the board setup is wrong and don't continue the game on it. Okay. Whenever you put chessboard, please make sure that your right hand bottom square always should be white. Now let me introduce you the pieces. This is king, the crown one. This is the head of the total army. This is the head to the kingdom is king. Queen, rook, knight, bishop, and pawn. If I just highlight and show you rook, bishop, queen, king, knight, and pawn. Now we'll learn about the piece movements. Let's start with the rook. Rook moves in the straight line. Rook always moves in the straight line. It can be up, it can be down, it can be right, it can be left. Wherever it moves, the direction is straight. Hope it is clear for you. Now let's go with bishop. Bishop moves in the slanting line, in the direction of slanting line, which means bishop moves diagonally in a direction. Which means if it is in white, it must move in the same color. See. Okay. If it is in the white color square, it must move in the same color. Clear? Bishop moves diagonally in a direction. If it is in the thick color, we call it dark color. Now it must move in the same color like this. Right. Now let's go and learn about queen. Queen is nothing but queen is equal to, if you add up rook and bishop, if you add up rook and bishop in one square, I'll just put it this way. Queen equal to rook plus if you add rook plus bishop, that equal to queen, which means queen can move like rook, as well as like bishop. Queen can move like rook and as well as bishop. If you want, use it like a rook, or else you can use it like a bishop. Now let's move to king. So king is pretty easy. King moves one step in a direction. wherever you move, but it is only one step. King moves one step in any direction. Now we are done with king, we are done with queen, rook, and bishop. Now we are left with knight and pawn. Knight moves in the shape of L. Number of steps, 3 steps, L shape. 1, 2, 4 here. You can see here, shape of L, isn't it? Now how many number of steps? 3 steps. 1, 2, and 3. And again L shape any direction. Okay. Knight moves in the shape of L. Number of steps 3. Don't count the square where it is standing. It is here. So you don't count that square. Now what do you mean by L shape any direction? Let me show you. You simply count the shape of L 3 steps. 1, 2, 3 like this. L shape. 1, 2, 3. Okay, like this everywhere. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. L shape. 1, 2, 3. Knight moves in the shape of L any direction. Hope it is clear for everyone. Now we're going to learn about pawn. See, white pawns will always be in the second row. That we see we have 8 rows, right? The white will be always in the second row. In the case of writing notation, you should place white in the second row. I mean, first row and second row belongs to white. Okay. Now, which means the white pawn will move from the second row to the opponent last row, that is 8th row. Always. Now, so I'll just put it in simple terms. White pawn moves in the forward direction. White, sorry, here white pawn, no. So pawn always moves in the forward direction. It never moves backward. White is going forward, isn't it here? White pawn. So for him, this is back. White will go from second row to 8th row. For white pawn, this first row is the back row. So it is not going to move backwards. Okay. It will also not move to the left or right. Okay. Now, while if you find opponent piece in the cross, it can attack one step cross. Okay, like this. It can be left or right. Only one step, like bishop, it will attack. Only one step. If for this white pawn, right? If he finds black piece to his right or left, it can move one step cross. Okay. The same thing applies for the black. See, for black pawn will be always in the 7th row, like this. All the 8 pawns. For black is like, say, it will be in 7th row and 8th row. White will be in the first row and second row. In the case of writing notation, you should place like this. If you're not writing notation, then only rule is to your right hand, the bottom square should be white. If in case you are not writing, I will in the lesson 2, I will explain you what is called notation. So pawn is slightly confusing. Pawn is slightly confusing. So as we go further, I'll make sure that you will understand well. Now from 7th row, black pawn. Okay, it will move like this. For him, what is back? For him, this 8th row is the background. As it moves forward, the behind row is back. For example, it is in the 6th row, the 7th row, it becomes back for him. So pawn will never move back. As I just told, it never moves to the right or left. Okay. How it attacks? One step cross, like bishop. Like this. If white piece is here, he can take. Okay. So pawn is slightly confusing. Please, if you're not understanding, don't worry. As we go further, I'll make sure you have good clarity. So this is about piece interaction, guys. Hope you understand the piece movements of king, queen, rook, bishop, knight, and pawn. Thanks for listening, and please continue listening next chapters.